Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie or Cam and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How are you doing today, Will?
I'm doing fantastic, Cam. How about you?
I'm doing great. Well, we had a schedule to attend to. We had a lot of plans for this episode. A lot of stuff that, we just, not that we missed, that we just haven't had a whole lot of time to go over. We've had other big events to cover. We had the Oscars, Super Bowl, a bunch of big stuff to break down. So we didn't really have time for these little things. And this list of little things that we've had to cover has grown longer and longer. Today, Today was the day to knock off everything on that list. Get everything we were gonna do, get it done. Instead, we're gonna be talking about the entire cast of Avengers Doomsday, which was released in the most annoying way today. Um, so yeah, looks like we're gonna be spending the entire episode on that. But you know, it's good Marvel news, and I'm happy to cover that, because a lot of recently what we've been talking about Marvel has been pretty negative. So seems like mostly a positive. But like I said, they revealed this in the most annoying way possible, and what I mean by that is they started a live stream with chairs that I don't even know, like every 20 minutes a name would be revealed. So you'd just be watching the live stream and name after name, blah, blah. I watched a little bit of it, but like, come on, I'm not gonna. So I just checked out of that and just waited for it to be done. And then I checked the list of official names. Um, and we have a lot of stuff to go over here because there are a lot of names on this list, but there are also a lot of names not on this list, which I also wanted to cover. And I figure we can also kind of incorporate Thunderbolts trailer as well as Fantastic Four, which we haven't totally broken down yet here in the podcast, because some of the actors, or most of the actors from those movies, have found themselves in here. I'd also like to talk about what we think the plot is kind of going to be here, and why certain characters are missing, what the whole plan is here. So, let's go through the big hitters on this cast list. Well, actually,
Yeah.
first and foremost, were there any crazy surprises for you on this list?
Um, I would say, um, Namor coming back from
Yeah,
Wakanda Forever, that was interesting
I
to me.
agree.
I did not see that coming, but everything else, pretty much made sense to me. Things like Loki being in it makes sense. This is the multiverse we're dealing with here. Them, Fantastic Four being in it, not surprising. X-Men characters being in it makes sense. This is the multiverse. Marvel has rights to those characters now. So a lot of it to me made sense. But seeing a name like Namor come back up on there, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming at all. There are a few names in here that I was surprised by, but mostly I was surprised by the people who weren't in this cast list, and that's what I kind of want to talk about first. We have a bunch of big names. Actually, no, we'll talk about who's in it first because that just makes more sense. So we're gonna get to the big hitters. Not everyone here is like crazy, but we have Chris Helmsworth, which actually was kind of for some reason a surprise to me because we haven't like seen Thor in years. So I'm actually really happy about that, and I hope they do justice to his character because Infinity War, Endgame, Ragnarok, Thor, that is widely considered to be, and I believe it to be the best Thor's ever been in the MCU. So hopefully they can get him to a spot like that because last time we saw him, he was in one of the worst spots he was in the MCU. But I'm sure they're gonna fix that after the negative response. So after Chris Hemsworth, we have Vanessa Kirby, the Invisible Woman, Anthony Mackie, Captain America, which all expected. I expected all the Fantastic Four members to be there, just because of how big they are in the comics and how big the movie's gearing up to be. Sebastian Stan, no surprise there. Letitia Wright, good to see. Not a surprise, more kind of unexpected because I feel like even though she had her Black Panther movie, a lot of people don't really think of her as the definitive Black Panther just because she has one movie. where she's really focused on. And I'm glad they're gonna have her here, and hopefully they give her one project before, just so we can kind of grow her as a character a little more. Because we've only gotten one, I mean, really, pretty much one actual Shuri movie. I'd be interested to see if they'd be able to develop her character more before going into Doomsday. But I think either way it'll work out fine because I really like her. Um, Paul Rudd, good to see his face. Kind of forgot he was in the MCU, but no, we had that horrible Quantumania movie, and there we go. Paul Rudd. Wyatt Russell, excited to see him. Really liked him. He's probably the best part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he's gearing up to be the best part of Thunderbolts. So excited to see him. Like we said, Namor. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I don't know how to pronounce it. But obviously, yeah, we were both surprised by that. Um, Ebon Moss Barak, which is the Thing. Probably butchered his name as well. Excited to see it. But like I said, I figured Fantastic Four, he'd be in it. Simu Liu! Have not heard that name in Marvel in a long time, since like 2021. I mean, we've heard stuff about Shang-Chi 2 being in development, but glad that he's finally confirmed, well, I mean, confirmed to be in this movie. Because I really like that movie, and I really think he's a fantastic character. Florence Pugh, no surprise there, she's really a big part of the MCU these days. Kelsey Grammer as Beast appeared at the end of the Marvels, which is still one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But he's in the end credit scene of that, and of course he plays Beast in the original X-Men trilogy. I think only the third one actually. Then he comes back in Days of Future Past, I believe, but I could be wrong on that one. But good to see him back here. This is when a lot of the X-Men stuff starts. Lewis Pullman, which I believe is, well, I mean, I know that is Sentry in Thunderbolts. So the main villain of Thunderbolts is him. But that is kind of an issue because now we know he doesn't die, and that might be kind of spoiling something for themselves, but I think that's fine. Danny Ramirez, the Falcon, we saw him in Captain America Brave New World. Um, Joseph Quinn, the Human Torch. David Harbour, Red Guardian, glad to see him here, really like his character. Winston Duke, been part of the Black Panther series forever. So I'm glad he's here just because I really like his character in both the Black Panther movies, and I think he's kind of can be comedic relief, but he can also serve as a really compelling character sometimes. So, I'm glad he's here. Um, Hannah John Kamen is here, which is Ghost, which was a surprise because, frankly, I thought Ghost was gonna die in Thunderbolt. So I'm glad that she's gonna be here. I mean, hopefully they make her character a lot more compelling in the Thunderbolts because she's kind of a nothing character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Um, then after that, one of the biggest ones for me, Tom Hiddleston, Loki. Part of me knew he was going to come back at some point, but a part of me also wondered, will we ever see him again? His story kind of ended, but no, it looks like we're going to kind of get a Loki epilogue story for him, which is going to be great to see. Because, I mean, if you ask a lot of Marvel fans right now who their favorite character is right now in the MCU, it's probably going to be Loki. He's at the best product Marvel's, probably one of the best products Marvel's ever made about him. So, I mean, glad to see him there. Two of my favorite parts of this, Ian McKellen, Magneto, who I've been gunning for a comeback because I love Ian McKellen. He's a phenomenal actor, obviously, and he's really good as Magneto, even though those movies kind of go off the rails as they go on. I think Ian McKellen's great as the character, and I'm so happy he's back because Patrick Stewart has had chances to come back as Professor X, which, by the way, I'm also super excited that he's here, Patrick Stewart. But he's had chances to come back as the character, like we saw in Logan, and we saw that in Multiverse of Madness. So he's kind of had a chance to re-enter that character. Whereas Ian McKellen has just not had that chance since the last X-Men movie he appeared in. So I'm glad he's there. Um, we have Channing Tatum, who I think that was probably my biggest surprise, simply just because I mean I don't think anyone expected to really see him again after Deadpool and Wolverine, which is why he's such a welcome surprise here, you know. Then we have Alan Cumming, who plays what does he play? Nightcrawler, right? Nightcrawler. He's in X-Men 2. He's a big part of X-Men 2, and he appears throughout the other X-Men movies. If you're familiar with X-Men 2, then you'll know that Alan Cumming has the best scene in that movie. Then we have Rebecca Romijn. Probably said her name wrong, but that is Mystique of the X-Men movies. And I'm glad she's here. She's always been a central part of the X Men movie, for better or for worse. And there's been multiple actresses playing her, and but I'm glad she's returning. Then we have Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic, again expected. And then the main expected one, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. Now that we've made it through here, I have a few thoughts I'd like to share. But, Will, do you think it's weird that Doctor Strange, Spider Man, Peter Quill, Hawkeye, and I mean, who else are we missing? That we're missing all these people.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to your list, I mean, obviously, I mean, really, we have two Hawkeyes. We have the Clint
Oh
Barton
yeah, Kate
Hawkeye
Bishop as well.
and
Miss
Kate
Marvel, Captain
Bishop.
Marvel.
Yeah, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Bruce Banner, She
Yeah.
Hulk. There's a whole group of people. Tom Holland, it wouldn't shock me if he's not in this movie because Spider Man 4 with him is coming out 2 months after Avengers
Ooh, I've
Doomsday.
heard
But for
theories.
but for everybody else, here's my thought. I think there's going to be another live stream, excuse me, coming either tomorrow or sometime soon because Benedict Cumberbatch, after originally saying Doctor Strange was not going to be in Doomsday, came back, said he misspoke, said Doctor Strange will be in this film. So I think that either tomorrow or some other day, a live stream, another Marvel live stream will happen where they'll announce Doctor Strange and Wong and Star Lord and Miss Marvel and Bruce Banner and She Hulk and some of these characters that they haven't announced yet because it would really make no sense to me why they wouldn't be in the movie, especially because Benedict Cumberbatch came out recently and said no, Doctor Strange actually will be in this film.
And
So
there
I
were
know
leaks showing that Doctor Strange was in the film
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Some concept art leaks. And Peter Quill, I saw was in some of the concept art that
Yeah.
got leaked as well.
with the
So
new Avengers. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, including I saw Joe Locke's character from Agatha all along in some of the concept art too. But, I know there's been things in the past like Ant-Man not being in Infinity War, the Wasp not being in Infinity War, Hawkeye not being in Infinity War. I know those things have been done before, but to me, there's too many major characters missing for me to not believe that another live stream will be coming either tomorrow or some other day soon where those names will get announced.
Well, here's what I think. There's a thing called. Well, I have multiple ideas here. One, cameos slash surprises. That is probably something that they want. They want there to still be surprises in here. Um, so they could be saving it for that. They could be doing another live stream. But there's rumored to be this other thing, this Battle World project. And it's this idea. It's where all of these multiverse places collide essentially and meet. And it's exactly how it sounds. And it's a possibility that those characters are there, and that's kind of something that they have to deal with. And if we don't see them, maybe the ones we don't see here in Doomsday will be in this Battle World whole movie thing, if it ends up even happening. If not, and there's no explanation, I will be very confused. But I mean, they wouldn't do that without a reason. So another reasoning I actually would say is they're actually kind of more focusing on new characters, and obviously there are returning ones, but if you look at the list, it's new characters, and I mean, some of them have existed before, but some of them are new to the MCU, like Ian McKellen, a lot of the X-Men people, and obviously Fantastic Four, Shang-Chi, a lot of the Thunderbolts people haven't really had time to develop, and even this version of Loki hasn't had a movie yet, right? Um, so a lot of these characters haven't had time to really shine, which isn't like a bad thing. It's just a time thing. So I think this movie is going to kind of focus more on the X Men and the newer characters, which is by no means a bad thing. These characters need development, and then Secret Wars could bring it all together, or they could have the whole Battle World thing and kind of connect with that. But either way, I think this is going to be a more new character slash X-Men oriented film, just based off the cast list alone.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, not a whole lot of surprises, and it just makes me think. I have no clue what Robert Downey Jr.'s role is going to be as Doctor Strange. I don't even know what this means. I mean, I don't have any theories. Have you heard anything about it, Will?
About Doctor Doom, well, I mean, I think there are some things out there about Doctor Doom and Tony Stark being connected in some ways. In some way, one of our podcast guests, James, he was saying to me, I think he was saying today, there's some like comic storyline or something where they like switch bodies, or I don't know, something like that. So I think some people are theorizing that Doom is connected to Tony Stark in some way, but I personally don't want Marvel to do that and don't think Marvel will do that. Tony Stark should just be left as he is. Amazing character, amazing ending. I would just let Tony Stark be and let Doctor Doom be his own thing. I'm conflicted about Robert Downey Jr. returning to the
Definitely cash
MCU
grab.
as Doctor Doom. I mean, I think Robert Downey Jr. saw, Marvel was at a crisis point. They saved my career, so I'm gonna do them a solid and come in and help them out again. But Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor, so this could work, and maybe they'll do something, where like he has a mask on for the whole movie, and you don't see his face to not confuse him with Tony Stark. But I'm also genuinely worried about it from the standpoint of it is going to be hard for me to watch Robert Downey Jr. in these two movies
Yeah.
and not be thinking this is the same guy who played Tony Stark for 11 years. So I have complicated feelings toward Robert Downey Jr. coming back. I'm worried about if Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom is even going to work, and if I'm even going to be able to feel comfortable seeing him play a different character in the MCU. So I have major concerns about that. But I will say this: this movie to me, because some of the newer characters Marvel has brought in recently, some of them I like, some I'm not as wild about, which I feel like makes this Avengers roster not as strong as some of the Avengers rosters from the past. And for that reason, I don't think the Avengers is going to get like, I could see a world where the Avengers roster is not the promotion that this movie gets. I could just see Marvel going all out, trailers, TV spots, everything. Just Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr., like everything you see, just Robert Downey Jr. returns to the MCU. Avengers Doomsday in theaters May 1st, 2026. I think Marvel is going to try and get as many eyes on this project as they can. And I think Robert Downey Jr. will be their strongest calling card. So I could honestly see this being a situation where they don't even really massively promote the new Avengers and instead just have Robert Downey Jr. be the focal point of every trailer and TV spot that comes out for this film.
I would have to say, I don't think I realized just how soon we're getting this movie. I mean, I thought it was a 2027 release, but it's not. I believe that Secret Wars was a 2027 release.
Yeah.
Um, wow, it's almost close to a year away, which is crazy. Um, yeah, probably get a trailer. Maybe I don't know. When do you think we'll get a trailer? Probably like the fall, maybe like October, November around that.
Yeah, I think fall to winter sounds appropriate. I know that they're going to start filming Avengers Doomsday in London sometime
Mm.
soon. So I saw an interview with the Russo brothers recently where they said that I think they said that each movie would be about a 6 month shoot. So I think
Mm.
they'll go, film the movie, and then, as you said, maybe sometime in fall or winter we'll get the teaser trailer, and then sometime in 2026, maybe, like, maybe, oh, Know what? I know exactly when the second trailer for Avengers Doomsday will come out on Super Bowl Sunday. That just
Oh
that
yeah,
that's
or that could
know
be a
what?
first trailer
Yeah,
date,
that could be the first trailer date too. Yeah, so
like they did with
we'll see how.
Deadpool.
Yeah, they definitely could do that, but I could also see it being what you said earlier, to where they go film it, in the spring and summer, and then in the fall or winter of this year we get a teaser trailer.
Yeah, either way, I think it would work. But yeah, I think the Super Bowl idea is good. That's one of the main things because if we saw this cast and we had a different director, I'd be very worried. Or not very worried. I'd be like kind of worried. But I have a lot of faith in the Russo brothers directing Marvel movies. A lot of the stuff they've done outside of Marvel movies, as of late, has not been very good. Whether it be them producing projects or directing projects. They just had a movie with Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt geared up to be this big blockbuster, bombed on Netflix, horrible reviews. Everyone hating on Millie Bobby Brown, everyone hating on Chris Pratt. Terrible movie, terrible movie, terrible movie. So hopefully that doesn't happen for Doomsday. People also didn't like that movie Cherry that they directed with Tom Holland, which I watched the trailers and it looked really good. And I mean, I will say that movie was more mixed. I saw people really like it, and so people kind of feel mixed on it. But no one like hated Cherry. I think it was just a okay movie. Then you have that movie The Gray Man, which I enjoyed. I feel like if you were gonna watch that movie, you knew what it was gonna be before you went and see it. Like I didn't know why people kind of went that hard on that movie because it was just a perfectly acceptable movie, right? You knew what it was going in, and it completely delivered on that, right? But the performances were strong. I thought the directing was actually really good in that movie. I like how the Russos used drone shots in that movie, and I don't know. I just like moving the camera like that. Sam Raimi does it as well. I think it's a director thing I find really cool. And that having I've talked about it before in the podcast, having your own style as a director is something I can point out and be like, oh, that's the Russo brothers. That immediately a lot of points. And it was a super fun movie. And I don't see the criticisms totally for that one. Obviously there are some issues, but it's definitely not a bad movie for sure. Um, but it was mixed, then that's just how it's going to be. And then this new Electric State movie, which I just never had any interest. I don't even know what it's about. I have no clue what it's about. Um, but I think it started with like a 12% of Rotten Tomatoes, and it has gone up a little bit, but like it's still in the teens, which is not great at all. Um, but if there's one thing that the Russos know how to direct, it's an Avengers slash Marvel movie. You know, they've done it time and time again. It's been great time and time again. I think them and James Gunn have been the most consistently good directors for the MCU. I mean, you have directors who are good for the MCU, but then it doesn't end up working out. Jon Favreau, Iron Man 1, great. Iron Man 2, less great. Taika Waititi, Thor Ragnarok, great. Thor Love and Thunder, not great. But James Gunn, and I think most of the credit can go to the Russos here because they've been able to work with all the characters mostly, and it still works. James Gunn mostly just worked with the Guardians. But all the movies the Russos have done have been good, right? So I think they'll be able to continue the streak, and I think the fact that Marvel has a lot of faith in them, that kind of instills the same faith in me. So I believe it definitely has the potential to be a perfectly good Avengers movie. And do we know if they're directing Secret Wars yet?
Yes, they
Yeah,
will
they
be.
are. I know that was a question for a little bit, but all right, that's good to hear. Um, so yeah, I'm anxiously anticipating more of a plot outline, trailers for this movie. Um, I'm gonna say it right now. The trailer's gonna make or break. Um, it's all about how they handle Doom, and you know what they're gonna do. Will they're gonna show the whole trailer? The last 5 seconds of the trailer are gonna be Doctor Doom, and it's gonna annoy me because everyone, including myself, is gonna be watching the trailer for Robert Downey Jr. and he's not gonna be in it. And they keep doing this. People keep making trailers and not showing what people want to see. The Superman trailer, great trailer, no dialogue. I mean, come on, give us some. But like, I don't know. That's just a minor complaint I have. Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's called Deadpool and Wolverine is only in the last shot of the teaser trailer, which is ridiculous. He's in the title of the movie. So, that's, I mean, I know, I will. When this trailer comes out, everyone come back to this episode and look at what I'm saying now. He's going to be in the last 5 minutes, say something, and then he's gone. And we won't see another trailer for like 6 months. But anyway, I had to just clear the air on that, because that's been annoying me. Just movies in general have been saving the big part everyone wants to see for the end. Fantastic Four, Galactus, saved it for the end. I mean, I think the only Red Hulk actually. I mean, even that movie was awful. Red Hulk in the first teaser trailer for Brave New World, end of the trailer. I mean, the only one that's not guilty of that right now is Thunderbolts, because they just don't have that much to reveal. I don't think it's that type of movie. But I mean, you gotta agree with me there, Will. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this movie, and something I'm interested to get your thoughts on, Will. Actually, any kind of detour off topic, is the Fantastic Four movie trailer, because I have thoughts on it, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't seen any of the other um Fantastic Four movies, and if this was a situation of this was a
Don't
Fantastic Four
watch
team,
them.
oh no, I'm not planning on watching them. Like if this was a situation where like this was a Fantastic Four team that had been on screen before, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I'll go and do my homework and watch it. But since this is a whole new team, I don't feel the need to do homework like I have with other MCU movies like Spider-Man No Way Home. And my thoughts on the trailer is this. Did I think it was a bad trailer? No, I thought there were strong elements to it, and part of this could just be I don't know the Fantastic Four. This will be my introduction to them, so I'm still warming up to them. But where I'm at with these Marvel movies now is I feel like they're just less fresh and original than they were in the past because they're doing the same things over and over and over again. And I watched this Fantastic Four trailer and I'm like, oh, here's a team of heroes who's going to come together and they're going to have to defeat a villain you know just like basically every single other Marvel movie is. So did I think it was a bad trailer? No, but did it make me go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this movie? No, it did not do that for me.
See, I know what you mean, Will. I have some interesting thoughts on this.
Okay.
So, do I think this movie is gonna be good? Yeah, I think it's gonna be really good. But why was that one of the worst trailers I've ever seen Marvel come out with? I mean, this is the second time today I'm getting mad about trailers, but that's just how it is. We're just gonna have to deal with that. But honestly, we didn't learn that much. And I get it's a teaser trailer. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, make the trailer good. The big thing I had didn't show much of the characters, so I have no interest in these characters. But like I said, I'm sure they're going to be good. I think the movie's going to be good. Just keep that in the back of your mind because I don't want to keep repeating myself and saying this because I do think the movie's eventually going to be good. A big part about this movie is that it doesn't take place in the MCU or in the main universe, and it's in the 50s. It takes place in like a retro future 50s. If I didn't know that, I still wouldn't know that. Why aren't they playing into one of the most crucial aspects of the movie? I think that was a big thing and something I was really excited to see the MCU explore. But I mean, here we are. I could think it. I wouldn't know that if I didn't know that already. You know what I mean? And we don't see any of the performances. And I tried to convince myself that it was a good trailer, but I mean, the stuff we get to see is fun enough. Blah blah blah. And I know what they're trying to do. I don't care right now. This movie desperately needs another trailer. And if the next trailer is equally as bad as this one that we got, the movie's gonna be bad, which is gonna be terrible. I mean, it's just gonna be a mess, and I feel bad because I really like everyone in that movie, and I think it needs to be good, and I like the Fantastic Four. I mean, not some of the other movies, but as characters in general in the comics, I like them, and I think they deserve a chance to do good. and hopefully they will because they've been able to learn from a lot of people's mistakes. But man, that was a disappointing trailer, and maybe it was just because it was a teaser, but who knows? That it could end up turning out rough, but it also has a super high ceiling.
Yeah, and
Anyway,
I feel like I feel like real quick with Marvel, I feel like if it's not a great trailer, that's something to be concerned about. Because when I'm thinking about some of my favorite Marvel movies, Spider-Man: No Way Home, I was gripped by the trailers for that movie. It got me so excited. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, another Marvel movie that I love. The trailers for that movie got me super excited. Venom: The Last Dance, that movie was, I thought, better than the trailers indicated, but the Venom movies to me are more good bad movies. I'm not going there expecting them to be great.
yeah,
I'm going there expecting them to have their flaws but have fun with them. But for me, if a trailer for a Marvel movie isn't great, that makes me concerned because I feel like for movies like No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness and Avengers Endgame, if the movie's great, I feel like the trailer's probably going to be great too. So the fact that this wasn't a great trailer for the Fantastic Four, that has me concerned because I feel like if it was going to be a great movie, that the Marvel trailer team would have been able to put out a trailer better than that.
yeah, I do agree with you, and I'm just hoping for the best right now, just because these characters deserve a good movie. But you know what looks really good? The Thunderbolts, and this was a movie that was essentially at one point blatantly copying the Suicide Squad. I thought, but then we saw more of it, and I was like, oh, this could be cool. Then more of it, and more of it, and now I'm very invested in this movie, and I think it's going to be one of the best MCU movies we've had in years. That A24 trailer with all the A24 stars and crew members that were highlighted, which obviously they know what they were doing. Everyone loves A24, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It was a. That wasn't even the best part of the trailer. It was just the best trailer Marvel's ever released and made me incredibly excited. And it was like a TV spot, too. And
Mm.
the worst part about it, for me, actually, was that they were so desperate that they had to highlight that there were people that worked for A24 at one point, a part of this movie. But, I mean, a lot of people would be convinced by that. I don't care. It's whatever. But that was a phenomenal trailer, and I think this movie is going to be really, really good and unexpectedly good. Just because, I don't know, I feel like this wouldn't happen. Just look at the movie. Like, analyze what it looks like. I had a whole discussion on the podcast about how Marvel movies just don't look like commercials. This doesn't look like a commercial. It has some grit, has some depth to it. Take the Batman for example. That movie, not looks dirty in a bad way, but it looks like dirty, it has grit to it, right? You can kind of feel what's going on around. A lot of the Marvel movies, I hate to be that guy, but John Watts is horrible at making his shots don't not look like Amazon commercials. Um, like we saw in all the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. But this movie looks like it has texture to it, like it has a feel to it, which I'm really, really excited to see. I think this is the best looking Marvel movie so far in terms of actual look and story. I think it's gonna be great. What are your thoughts on Thunderbolts right now, Will?
So let me first say I did not realize how many people from this movie were in A24 projects. Like that was really fun to find
Yeah,
out. And there are characters from this movie that I like, such as the Winter Soldier and Florence Pugh's character. But my thing with this movie is there are also other characters who I like Ghost and Taskmaster, for instance, who I just don't really care about because they weren't like major like focuses in the movies they were in, and I just don't remember them that well, which makes it harder for me to be invested in them in this. And then this to me comes down to another movie where the comedy style just kind of doesn't feel like my thing. David Harbour to me is very clearly trying to play his character like he's a joke.
yeah,
Essentially, he's going all out on comedy with his character, and for me, it's just not my type of comedy style. So maybe I'll be proven wrong, but for me, there's just too many characters who who they're bringing in here, who I don't remember that well and don't really care much about. Plus, it's a group of anti-heroes, which makes it a bit harder to get behind him. And the comedy style just seems like more of the comedy that I wouldn't be into, which is why, for me, at this moment, at least, this movie has not earned my excitement.
I think you'll be proven wrong. Oh yeah,
Okay,
I'm just gonna come and say I think you're gonna
all right,
completely change your mind. I think this movie is gonna be the best Marvel movie in years,
all right.
and I just hope I'm not wrong. That would be terrible. I need this movie to be good, because if this isn't good, and then Fantastic Four isn't good, then I'm like the MCU's done. It's over. It has to be one of the next two movies has to be good, because this dumb, awful Captain America movie that just came out. I mean, whatever. That was terrible, and it could have been good, but it wasn't. It was awful. Instead of being good, it was terrible. But now we have these two movies. If they're both good, MCU at a whole new level of greatness, right? If one of them's bad, they stay the exact same. If both of them are bad, the MCU is in critical condition. But we'll see. I think one of them's gonna be good. One of them's gonna be I don't think either of them are gonna be fully bad. And please, just the next Fantastic Four trailer, be good, please. But I will say, I kind of seem to be the only one with the Fantastic Four take. I think it could also kind of be a personal thing, so it might end up getting good reviews. So I just might not like it, which I would also be fine with, because the more positive light the MCU gets shed on it right now, I think the better. But that about wraps up this episode of the Everything Podcast. Well, thank you for joining me as always. Like I said, we had a lot of little stuff to check off this bucket list, but here we are. One topic, essentially, the whole day. But it was an important topic for sure. And these are things that we have to address. I mean, big news, right? So, yeah, super excited for this upcoming Marvel movie. Super excited for these announcements that were made. And I can't wait to see what happens in the future. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.